Simon here from Re-Evolution Arts. We're here today to have a chat with Joe Green, an awesome musician from the ever-growing Cheltenham scene. He's in a band called Death Is a Girl, and we're going to find out a little more about him. So, Joe, hello, sir.
Hello.
Shake my hand.
I apologise about the heat.
It is hot in here, man. It is really hot in here.
It is.
Right, so we are here to find out some things about you.
Yes.
That the people want to know.
Okay.
So let's start right at the beginning.
Right.
So let's talk about family and music.
Family and music.
Yeah, how did any of your family, if they did, influence you at all?
My dad mainly. My dad was a drummer, and he kind of introduced me to drums at like 5, I think it was. So, yeah, that's how playing music kind of came into play. But music was like always in our house, and my mum loves reggae, and obviously, as mentioned, my dad played, so obviously he loved music as well.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, what stuff did your dad play on the drums?
Just reggae.
Just reggae?
Yeah, like just a solid reggae household. I think that's one of the reasons why like rock became so important, because it was just kind of a rebellion to what was happening.
To go off the track.
And my own as well. Like,
have you tried putting any reggae into stuff now?
I did once. I wrote a song called New Generation, and I put like a proper dancehall bit in it, which it was like a ska song. It's so bad.
Oh, is it out there anywhere?
No,
MySpace.
Nowhere. I think no. It never got to MySpace, thankfully. But yeah, it is on an EP somewhere.
What was the band or musician that really got you to want to actually play music and be a musician?
Do you know what? It was actually a friend called Craig Priest. He got me to play. He made me want to play music. But in terms of other bands, I think Incubus and Skunk Anansie were there. Like, I want to be like them. Like, I'd really like to do what they're doing musically. Those were the kind of people that
Influences.
Yeah, to pick up stuff or to keep playing stuff.
What was the first thing that your friend got you to play then?
I was thinking about this the other day. It was Booker T and the MJs, Green Onions, and I had this really terrible little Casio keyboard, and he just made me play the keyboard part on it, and he played guitar.
Nice.
And then he was like, "Oh, we should start a band." At like age 11, with no idea what we were talking about, and that's when I picked up the guitar. And the first things I played with that, because he was massively into the Manics as well. So he got me into the Manic Street Preachers. And then he got massively into Nirvana. He was kind of like the Jesus of our group. We kind of, whatever he said to listen to, we listened to that.
Yeah.
But getting into Nirvana was like...
we talked previously about your love for Nirvana and that really influencing you.
Massively so. Just kind of that whole alternative scene, really. It opened up a lot of kind of doors and windows, whatever, and kind of experiences as to sounds that I wanted to kind of get involved in, and a scene that I wanted to be a part of, I think.
Was that what made you want to play guitar? If you listened to Kurt Cobain, or anyone else in particular?
Not guitar, no.
Everyone knocks Kurt Cobain.
He's an amazing guitarist. I think it's what he isn't doing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. You're keeping it simple, man.
Exactly.
That's the best way.
Yeah.
So who was it that influenced you to think, I might want to get a guitar?
All the kind of normal people, really. I've loved Steve Vai for a moment.
He does.
I kind of was like,
do you know what, that's quite a thing to live up to. Yeah, I know.
I know, exactly. It's going from like 0 to like 1,000.
Yeah.
It never would happen, but that was at one point. That was like, that's where we want to get to. Let's see if I can be like some crazy shredder. And then I had like a James Hetfield, Kirk Hammett phase at one point as well.
Cool.
And then as I've gotten older, it's just been more like jazz and more like melodic music, and just songwriting. I think is more important to me now. Than being able to shred really fast.
Yeah, it's true though. I mean, if you look at some people doing it and you're like,
well, yeah,
you don't know, it's cool, man. Like, it's really cool that you can actually do that.
Exactly, but it's not. Yeah,
there's a difference between doing a guitar solo and writing an entire track.
There's a time and place, isn't it, for that kind of stuff. And then all the normal ones, like Hendrix and Jim Page
and all the standard.
Yeah, all the normal stuff.
Were you in a band in high school?
Yeah, loads. I think the first band I was ever in didn't even have a name, and we did a gig. It was in Wales, so it was the first gig we did was for an Eisteddfod, I think they're called.
Okay.
And it was exactly. It was like one song. Played Australia. I was on drums, and like it wasn't even like a full kit. It was just a floor tom, which I was using as a bass drum, and a snare, and some weak ass crash. And I couldn't, and I think at the time I wasn't even processing the fact that you need to hit. Now, obviously, like I'd want to play, if I play a crash, I'd play the bass drum as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the time it was like, when like people don't do that, and it's that horrible sound it makes. That it was one of those. It was one of those sounds.
Yeah, because
So-
of course you play drums as well.
Yes, that
So
is
what,
a thing.
when did that start? How did that come about? Because I always knew you as a guitar player.
Okay.
And then when I saw you playing the drums, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
all right, you can play the drums as well.
It's always been around, as I say, like age 5, reggae beats all day. And then I stopped for years. And then age 11,
Yeah.
when we were like, we need to make a band. Do you know what actually got me back into it was a song called by The Cause called So Young. There was a remix version of it. And it had this really amazing beat that I was just like
Did you
obsessed
say by
with.
the Cause?
I know,
That's
it's the most ridiculous,
odd
like,
one.
I'm going to pick up the drums because of The Cause. But that is what happened. And it's not even like the album version as well. It's like the single version of the song So Young.
So that's where it started from, and then obviously
Yeah.
you started playing
Yeah.
drums.
And then just kind of getting into the Chili Peppers. They were a huge influence. Like Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Oh, one album.
Oh, just an incredible album. Like across the
All
board
the way
though as
through.
well. Yeah, like start to finish, like 17 tracks of absolute quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and just in like if you break it all down, like the bass lines on that, like most throughout the album are amazing. The drum beats and like his takes and stuff, just all of it.
Yeah, I think some of the later songs get better.
Yeah, like My Lovely Man and mate,
Psycho
Psycho Sexy. That is a
Sexy.
tune.
I know.
Have you seen Off the Map? They did a live DVD like kind of early 2000s. They've all got mohawks in it.
Oh, cool. No, I haven't seen that.
I think it's like a bonus track of that. That song live. Oh my god, so good, so good.
Sick.
Chad Smith was like a massive influence for drums, and then I started getting into like Skunk Anansie rhythmically.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it was more for drums before it was for vocal. that I
Oh,
got
okay.
into Skunk.
You just like the beats.
Yeah, well, Mark, whatever his name is, like Mark Richardson, I think his name is. Was just doing crazy stuff, and then System of a Down as well.
Yeah,
became-
great. That's a really good. That's a good way
Yeah,
to start
like the
drums.
first-
Those bands.
Yeah, and then Metallica as well. I had a Lars Ulrich
Nice,
moment.
bit of Lars.
So-
So out of like vocals, guitar,
Yeah.
and drums, and obviously I'm sure you can play a bit of bass as well, probably most
course,
likely.
yes.
I mean, what
It's just
what
a
what do you
four-string
like to
guitar.
enjoy the most, or do you like going between them all?
I like going between them
Bit
all
of
now.
variety.
I actually, do you know, I lean a little bit harder on guitar a bit than that, like more now these days. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, just because.
there's a lot of possibilities. in
Yeah,
guitar.
but in terms of creating and stuff, you can do, which I want to do more of, obviously, and I've missed it as well.
Yeah.
So now I'd say I'd want to lean more on guitar.
Go back.
Yeah, do more guitar. work, which
Okay,
is
let's
kind of why we're here.
Yeah, let's go forward a bit now in history.
Yes.
Obviously, the last band that you were in, Empire,
Yes.
was a band that was loved by a lot of people,
It was alright.
and you say that, but it was awesome.
It was
And
it was good. It was a good
obviously,
time.
ending something like that
Yes.
is a big deal. So, once that ended and you started something new now, does it feel like a new start, or do you still look back and think we could have done something?
That's a very, very good question, Simon. We definitely could have done something. But I guess we'll never know. Yeah, and I suppose this is a new start. It's a different thing though. Like it's a different beast. Like the whole way I've come about doing this is completely different to how we came about doing Empire. Empire was kind of, well, actually, I suppose in a way it's kind of no, it is completely different. It is completely different. The creative process is completely different for a start. Yeah, so this is just something new. But it was a difficult decision to be made by the
Stop it.
5 of us.
I mean, there's always time. You can always go back.
I
You never
suppose
know
I
what's
don't know if
gonna
I would
happen,
now
though.
though.
never
I
know
don't know if I
what's
would.
gonna
It's been so long. Yeah, I don't know if I would.
It's difficult. Breaking up a
is.
band, especially when it's got
Do
potential.
you know what? It wasn't me. I just I didn't disagree with the decision to do it. So
The thing that people don't understand bands is the amount of people in it. It is like a democracy as
yeah,
well.
it was
you,
like a
you
it's
all
like
have
a
to
relationship.
agree.
Isn't it? Exactly.
It's difficult, and it's 5 people that are normally completely different.
Exactly, and it's exceptionally, it's a very personal thing that you're doing, like to a point,
How rare is it now when a band doesn't change at least one member? Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't
Very
see many
true.
bands where you're like, they're the 4 or 5 original members. Normally it's like, well, they changed the bass player at one point.
I'm
or
trying
they
to
played-
think of like an outfit that is still the same.
I mean, even ones you
like-
think about, because you'll be like, oh, Metallica. Oh, no,
No.
wait a minute, they're not.
No.
Because they're Dave, you're like,
That's like 2 bass
that's
players.
what I mean. Like, Dave Mustaine and the 2 bass
yeah,
players.
yeah.
And like, you think about that now and you think, oh, actually,
Maybe actually, No Doubt. There you go. No Doubt are the only band
Okay.
with an original lineup
Wow.
from start to finish.
nice.
There you go. Although they lost a member who died, but losing does that still count? Does that count?
No, they're technically not in the band anymore.
Yeah, but like none of the original. But one's died, but Yeah, I know. I think it's. I don't know. I'm going to count it. I think.
Okay.
Because
We'll allow it.
yeah,
I'll allow it.
yeah, yeah. Why not?
Yeah. So does this feel like a new start for you now? Because it's certainly different.
Yeah, I guess
to
so.
everything else that you've done. I'd say.
I'm just happy to be playing, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it is something new. But I don't really. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's right at the beginning.
I know, that's
it's right at the beginning.
Like,
So yeah, you are right at the
Such a dicey
beginning.
question.
So it's like a journey.
yeah,
I
but
guess.
when you say that, like I've been working on it for quite some time.
Yeah.
So right now it doesn't feel that new because I started it like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So like if you'd have asked me 2 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like
definitely.
now,
Yeah, but it's only just come into light.
that's
now,
true.
to fruition.
It's a new chapter of a book I've started 2 years ago.
It's a new chapter of a really old book that I haven't read in
Yeah,
ages.
of a book I'm familiar with, of The Hobbit.
We've talked a lot about music, and we're going
Yes.
to continue to do that. But let's
Right.
get away from that for a second.
Okay. Do we
What
have to?
else do you do, or do you have hobbies that people might not know about and might be interested in?
Not really. I'm pretty boring. I like a good racket sport.
Ooh,
For real, that's not a joke.
nice.
Yeah, I like a bit of badminton and squash. I don't get to play as much as I'd like though.
That's
And I like
cool.
riding as well. I'm quite into cycling.
Okay, I thought you meant horses.
No.
Why? Why not? No, horses scare me. I get
Yeah, no.
No, but
No.
music is an interesting hobby.
It is. It's
an
more than a hobby.
expensive-
It is a hobby. Pastime.
How much money would you estimate that you spent on?
I'd
musical
not
equipment?
like to say on camera. Just no. That'd be crass, Simon.
That'd be crass
It'd be like it's like we're having a job interview.
So
and
it's
you're gonna
high
ask me
then,
how much
because if you had like
money.
a guitar worth like 90 quid, you'd be like, yeah, about 90 quid. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. When you kind of work it all out, yeah, it's. I don't have I have a £70 guitar actually
Ooh.
that I've done nothing with.
It just sits there.
It's just collecting dust. It's called Fatima.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
she's a beaut. She's like the first ever one. But I've bought other guitars that have cost
Since.
more money than that. Since,
Yeah, is that the oldest instrument you've got?
Yeah, it is actually. I've had it since I was 13.
Wow.
It's though.
Doesn't play?
Yeah. Well, no, it does, but it is ruined. Like I need to go and give it to like old Mike Epps to have if you get your guitars done there.
Give it a nice clean
Yeah.
up and a
He
service.
sorts it out. He's the man.
So
I don't need to be drunk.
let's move to present day.
Here we are.
Death is a girl.
That she is. So
Tell
I'm
me
told.
about how that came together.
So as I said, I was working on it about 2 years ago. I just decided I wanted to write some songs because I hadn't written anything for ages. So I started working on Spectre. That was like the first tune I wrote for that. And then, kind of as I was finishing it, I was like, oh, I wonder, what if I could just do like 3 more tracks? And then I did, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should record a little EP. And then it was trying to figure out the best way to do it, because I kind of firstly I wanted to do it all on my own, and then I was like, oh, that's a bit, you know.
That's a lot of work as well. I mean,
Well,
I
it
suppose you could
is,
write the
yeah.
songs,
But then it was because obviously, as you know, being in a band, like whenever you write a song, trying to like get it from here into someone else's brain and then onto the guitar, the way you've got it in here
yeah.
can be impossible.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always necessarily come out exactly
Yeah.
as you had it, but I was cool with that. And then I was like, actually, that I'm just going to do it myself. So just because like trying to get everyone in a room at one time is also a massive nightmare.
Yeah.
So then I was like, no, okay, I'm just going to do it on my own. Also, because at one point, I as you've mentioned, I play it all,
Yeah.
whatever. Would that sound like a massive ego?
Yeah, but that helps though, because it means you can come up with something and you can do all of it yourself.
Exactly. It was a challenge, if anything, just to see if I could, in fact, put my money where my mouth was and be like, right, I am going to do it all.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can do it all now.
Yeah.
So yeah, once we'd worked out how to do it, we just went. That's what we've done. We just did it. So like we started recording it last November, and we just started mixing.
It's taken a while.
this week. So like yeah, just because that's another reason as well. That like it's been so cool and not having any pressures of like industry and stuff. You can just take your time.
Yeah.
You know. So there wasn't any. Well, as I say, any
Yeah,
pressure
you don't
or
have
any
a
rush.
time. You don't have a time frame that you've got to stick to.
And you don't have to compromise with anything.
Yeah.
Like it can sound exactly, as it does in here, on here. There's
Yeah.
a speaker over there, by the way. I'm not just putting something random.
So what about so the members themselves? Obviously, that
Yeah.
you integrated into it.
Yes.
Tell us who they are, what they do, and how you picked them. How did you get these guys in?
So, I've actually recorded it all with Alex Ross, of the Mimimis / Cupcake Diaz, now / Death as a Girl. Just because we've been a massive, we've been long-time collaborators for well over 10 years. He's been, everything good I've been in, he's been a part of as well. So he's a bit of a good omen, to be honest, or a bit of a good luck charm.
So he was the first person you thought,
Yeah,
I want this guy
exactly.
involved.
An incredible bass player, and just really easy to work with as well. So he was definitely going to be the first choice. And then the keys, because we play keys in this whole project. Obviously, Charlie Baxter. You know, he's the man. He's got all the gear and all the idea.
Nice.
So I didn't actually think I was going to get him though, because he is a really busy guy. So when he said yeah, it was like, okay.
Did you play keys on any of the demos then?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I did literally everything. So when it was time to, as you say, to kind of recruit and round up.
Yeah. You wanted someone that was.
Well, he
did a good
helped.
job.
He had lent us his keys to do the keys on the EP,
okay.
so it was just a no-brainer. That was like, I reckon you can got a spare afternoon, got maybe one or two gigs here or there. But yeah, so he's come on board and he's been very, very sweet and complimentary about it all. So, and just dug in, which is what you want.
Yeah.
And then Lestev, James and Steve on drums, previous main guitarist of Empire. That was kind of a fluke, really. He'd been a drummer before, and then I asked him if he'd do it, and he said yeah, and he just got it, and has been nailing it. So that was an accident, really. But
that came together.
yeah, I love the lineup now. It's all people that are really easy to work with, and they're all kind of behind it, and they all get it and like it, more importantly, because that's the other thing.
Yeah.
When it's not your project, or it's nothing that you've had to necessarily create or be involved in creatively, sometimes it can be difficult to get behind it. It's just like another session, but everyone has been very...
On the same level.
Yeah, but all on the same page and very kind of supportive and on board.
So that
it's been good.
perfectly leads into my next question. The writing process.
Yes.
Have you written anything, obviously post that now, have you written anything together?
Kind of, yeah. So I had written the full, and then I'd started working on a fifth track, which is called Can You Love Me, which actually you guys recorded. And I'd only been working on the guitar. I had an idea of what the bass was going to be. Actually, I had no idea what the bass was going to be. Voss completely put his own stamp on that. And then I had an idea of what the beat was going to be. And then Lestev kind of took the idea and ran with that. But as far as the keys are concerned as well, on that track, there wasn't anything in play. And again, Charlie's just done his own thing. So yeah, that track has actually been written as a group.
How did it feel kind of letting it off the chain to let other people get involved?
Well, everyone stayed as true or improved on the idea, so it's fine, it's cool. When we record it, I'm probably going to do it all myself. I'm joking.
You have no part in the recording.
No.
Sorry, are there any
boys.
live musicians?
Yeah, you drafted in for the live. No, not at all. I imagine. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. I would hope that we would record as a unit, but at the same time.
But, it's just strange because obviously that was you started it, you had the brainchild, and then you kind of have to let bits, because obviously if someone plays something and you go, that is way better than what I would.
Oh, exactly. I mean, that is very much still the case now. I'm not like James Brown where I'm like, that's not the beat, that's you'll be getting a 50.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
Do you turn around to them live and give them the old?
There's the eyebrow. Just No, there's not. There's none of that. Everyone is wicked, and everyone is free to kind of put themselves into it. That's what you want. When you when you put it in a band setting anyway. So yeah, there is room for expression.
Yeah, that's good.
As long as you stay true to.
Well, that's why some people are always just a bit anxious to go into a situation like that, because they think, I'm going to play someone else's songs that they've written, which is cool because they might be really good, but sometimes people are a little bit over controlling, and then you think, oh, I can't really, you don't allow people to even change one note, and then you start going,
that should be, why have you put that minus everything? It's just a solid minor,
yeah. How are you planning on growing the fan base? What's the next step? You said the EP.
Yeah, the EP, and then just touring. Literally playing and touring as much as possible, because that's all I really want to do, to be honest. Obviously kind of
skirting over the whole industry side of things again. It'd be great to have industry interested, but yeah, it's mainly just to play. Like the plan is gig as much as possible.
Yeah. It's the fun bit.
Well, exactly. Like that's why we do it. Like,
Yeah.
to play. Like,
Those 40 minutes, I think it was Maida Suno, those 40 minutes that you're on stage, they once said that that's the only reason there's any ever point in like starting a band. For
Yeah.
the 40 minutes that you get to play
Definitely.
on stage.
Oh, that's
Or in front of anyone, not necessarily even on a stage. So.
That's what else I was going to ask you is,
Yeah.
you know, what sort of feeling do you get on the stage?
Yeah.
Because everyone has differently. For me,
Yeah.
Nothing else. Everything just disappears.
Yeah.
The world could be blown up
Yeah.
and around me, and it just doesn't.
But you're having the time of your life.
Yeah, definitely.
It is pure joy. It's, I'd say, pure unbridled joy. With a little bit of nerves.
And sweating.
And sweat, yeah. And, you'll know, just those two things. Joy and sweat.
What about, because obviously your voice is insane. What about,
It's all right.
what about
Thank you.
warming up and keeping your voice going and steady? Do you have anything that you do?
Yeah. I'm a big supporter of Honey and Lemon. It works like the best out of everything I've ever done.
And
then
it tastes
obviously
good.
warming up. And it tastes delicious,
It does taste
exactly.
good.
If you've just got a little tickly throat.
I'm surprised when I see singers, because we still play with a lot of... I don't see singers warm up anymore.
Yeah.
Every gig, I must be the only singer that warms up.
How long
Everyone
do you-
else is just going... They just walk on stage
Just
and
go
start
on
singing.
cold,
And I'm like,
easy.
I have to warm up for like 15 minutes before I start singing
Every
properly,
gig?
man. Yeah.
Every gig, yeah. It depends. Sometimes I am that guy. I'm guilty of being going on cold. But I say that normally what will happen on gig day, when I'm in the shower, I'll usually do a little warm up in the shower.
Okay.
So I've warmed up at like the beginning of the day, or
Yeah.
just I like to shower before we play. So
Well, everyone's voice is different, so that might work.
yeah. Well, it's just about having it warm. For me anyway, I think you just need it hot. So
I have to warm up like 20 minutes before we play.
yeah, when I've toured, I have to warm up like every night. So like, I'll get away with the first few nights of maybe not warming up and just being like, we're on tour, I'm coming back. But then by night 3, it's like
Yeah, the voice
like
needs it.
yeah. Well, you've slept like in a cold ass van for that night, whatever. So yeah, you have to warm up, have to every night. Then, what's your tech? Like, what's your? Or can we not
mine's
say?
So weird. Basically,
Do you do
I
the?
think- yeah,
Are
I
you
think
one of them?
I've watched a lot of videos on obviously warming up.
Yep.
Apparently, the weirder the noise, the better it is.
Yes.
Just the more insane it sounds, the
This
better.
is-
And people, like the band, hate me. Because
Well-
I'm walking around just making the most insane noises, and they're trying to concentrate and warm
So
up
does
and do
Bruce
whatever they
Dickinson,
do.
just
That's
saying.
true, yeah. So let's go back to the EP.
Yes.
What can you tell us about it? Can you give us any track names? Can you
Of
give us
course.
any vibe?
I can
you
give
tell
you
us
all the track names.
Cool.
I think track 1 is going to be Spectre.
Okay.
Then track 2 will be 27.
Okay.
Then track 2 will be Tales, the title track of the EP.
Nice.
And then track 4 will be a song called Tom Price is a Changed Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's the meaning behind that?
It's about basically just being shafted,
Okay.
just unremorsefully people over, and he won't mind. The title comes from a guy we knew, who that kind of happened to, and I was just like, but then after it happened, he was a little bit different. So, well, actually no. The reason he's a changed man is because I had hoped he would be different
Right.
because of the screwing, but he is a bit now. He's a little bit different now. Hopefully he doesn't watch it.
Yeah.
Maybe he
hopefully
will.
we
I
don't-
don't know.
Maybe we don't use this
Whatever.
bit.
Or I mean, it's named after the street.
Sorry, what was that track? Spectre, you said?
Yeah.
Tell us about that one.
First track I wrote for the whole thing, heavily kind of like jazz influenced, I'd say. I think I've always said like it's a mix. Like the sound is a mix between like Jeff Buckley, Queens of the Stone Age, Deftones, Prince, and Rick James.
That is,
Just because,
that's
yeah,
quite a
it's-
lot in
I know.
the bag. Yeah, I
Well,
like
it's
that.
like, I think if Rick James produced a Quatsa track, or if Prince produced a Quatsa track, or a Jeff Buckley track, it's all about the groove, but then there's all of these dark elements. So the Rick James and the Prince is the groove,
Mhm.
and then all the dark elements and all these like ridiculous chords and guitars. Like,
Deftones stuff.
yeah, Deftones. Well, like
Yeah.
27 was like me trying to pay homage to Deftones as much as possible, like Saturday Night Wrist style.
Oh, I love that.
Because that album's amazing.
Love that album as
And
well.
it's like amazing groove.
Really dark though. That's probably where
Exactly,
you get
yeah,
the dark, that's a lot of
exactly.
dark tone.
With these really ominous like chords and stuff. I think like Steph was using like a 9-string at that point, or whatever.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like she's got these huge, dirgy guitars. Didn't go as extreme as a dirgy guitar,
No.
but
What's your favourite chord?
I think anything with a seventh in it. Love a good seventh. Yeah, anything that sounds jazzy, basically.
Yeah.
Like, put as much jazz in everything as possible. Which is basically what I've tried to do with this.
How can people get in touch with you then? How can people reach you through the interwebs?
Instagram, Twitter. I hate Facebook, so we're not on Facebook yet. But it feels like we're going to have
to. It's a bit of a
to.
must do, isn't it?
Well, we'll see. Maybe when the EP drops, I'll buckle.
Put it on there.
But for now, no.
No, okay,
I
no,
refuse.
That's fair enough. That's pretty good.
And the EP will be on Bandcamp and SoundCloud, so you'll be able to get it on that, and then eventually Spotify and all of those usual outlets.
So when
for
were you
digital.
thinking of doing some shows? Some more
Do
shows?
you know what, we're playing this week. We've got a pretty decent run coming up. We're playing on Sunday down at Cobblestones in Bridgewater. We're at the Cotswold next Saturday. We're in Birmingham on the I should have done the Birmingham one first, really, because it's before Saturday. So we're in Birmingham on Wednesday at Subside, and then we're, as I say, at Cotswold on the Saturday, and then that'll do for this
That's
month.
quite a
I'm
lot,
gonna
that's
have
good.
to. Yeah, it's all right.
That's good,
There's
man.
a few. I think there's something else coming up later in the month. Oh no, and then we're at the Rene. I think a couple of weeks after that. I'll just have to consult my diary. Sorry.
I like it going to the band diary.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot of gigs. That's a good.
It's
That's a
all
good
right.
run.
It's tasty.
Well, thank you for talking to me, man.
Thank you for talking to me.
It's been insightful. sir.
I hope it hasn't been really awkward and flappy.
It's been great.
I think it's been good.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man. I love you.
I love you too.
Thanks.